look at all this stuff. In 24 hours, I'm gonna have 25 ladies from my community at my house, and we're having a tea party. We're doing some hot seat business coaching, planning out what they need to do for the rest of the year in order to execute those goals that they've set. But this is gonna be crazy, y'all. I've cooked for 10, 12, 15 people before, but 25 is a little past my limit. So I've got a couple girlfriends coming over today to help me get these items ready. So let's get to it. Okay, so we need a game plan because we got 25 ladies coming in like 24 hours. While some of us like to cook, some of us don't. Still need a strategy. So we're lucky enough that Christie has quite a bit of, do we call it culinary experience?
Sure. Restaurant experience, culinary experience.
A bunch of years working in restaurants, you own a restaurant, you taught some culinary stuff.
Yep.
So I made this menu that I am so freaking excited about. But Christie has been gracious enough to go through the menu beforehand and figure out what we need to make today versus what we need to make in the morning for stuff to be the best. So do you think we should divide and conquer?
Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay, let's divvy up some of our lists. Okay, so for today, we're working on our dips that are gonna go on the charcuterie board because we're making those from scratch. We're gonna go ahead and wash and cut up the vegetables and the fruit, as well as the tomatoes and stuff for our bruschetta. How do you say bruschetta?
Tomato, bruschetta, bruschetta. It's bruschetta?
That's what I keep seeing on Instagram, that everyone's like, it's supposed to be. I'm like, that just sounds stupid to me. I don't want to say that.
When you go to Italy, more people say it.
Okay, I saw this really funny reel one time that was this white guy talking about how French people get really mad about us saying croissants. And the guy's like, it's supposed to be croissant. And he's like, we don't call y'all and say it's supposed to be McDonald's. It's like, it's McDonald's, right? We're white people, like, we're not gonna, anyway. So kind of the same idea. I'm like, I just say bruschetta, whatever.
I'm in America right now, and I just need to say to all Americans, it's croissant.
My guy, I think we know is croissant, okay? But it would sound weird for us to be like, hey, I want a croissant. Like when you say like you want to go to McDonald's, do you say like, we want to go to McDonald's? Because that's how you're supposed to say McDonald's. I bet you say it, we are going to go to McDonald's, something like that. So, fuck you. Fuck you. That's better.
The tomatoes for the bruschetta. We're gonna make biscuits because we're gonna make a Red Lobster like copycat biscuit. I swear, Red Lobster, we probably shouldn't say this on camera, but like the restaurant sucks when you go for the biscuits, right?
The cheddar biscuits are
You literally
I've
just
never been to a Red Lobster.
Shut up!
I haven't ever been either, but I've eaten the recipe from other people.
So we had your daughter as like baby help this summer, and she'd never had McDonald's.
No.
We were never had McDonald's. We were traveling on the road on this like 12-hour road trip. We were in the middle of nowhere, and the only choice to eat was like McDonald's or Subway for miles, and no one had eaten. And we're like, we're gonna have to eat McDonald's. And she's like, I've never had McDonald's. I'm like, do I need to text your mom before I feed you French fries from McDonald's? Like,
we just didn't have a McDonald's near us as she was growing up, and when we're back in the States, there's other things to eat. So
More exciting things to eat.
yeah, that is.
And she doesn't eat meat. So.
Right, exactly. So really, there's only.
what did she eat at McDonald's?
She ate French fries. Yeah, because that was all.
She eats
that they
French
had.
fries a lot.
Yeah, okay. That's all they had.
She eats French fries.
It's like the one thing in every restaurant.
They have French fries.
Yeah, that was one thing. When I was 14, y'all, I had a job at the gas station. I had to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to make biscuits for deer hunters going into the deer woods. If it doesn't get more country than that, I don't know what does. But we would always make like ham and cheese biscuits, like chicken biscuits, sausage, bacon, all these different kinds of biscuits. So I was trying to think of like, how do I make this tea party like and like more fancy and cute? So I was thinking we could do the Red Lobster biscuits and put ham and a pineapple jam inside of that to make it kind of spruce up a little bit.
Yeah,
so we're gonna make those biscuits today. And anything else we're cooking today?
Flower arrangements?
Yeah, we have all these flowers. So flowers get so expensive. So I went to Trader Joe's. I got a bunch of flower arrangements because they're so affordable there to make everything look really pretty and pull it together. And then we're gonna be using so up until COVID, I had 5 generations of women still alive. And everybody passes down like all their teacups and their beautiful china. So we're gonna use that and set up with that today to make it a lot cuter. So ready to get started?
Yeah, let's
Let's do it.
Okay, Carolina, you wanna make some dill dip?
Sure.
This is my favorite dill dip recipe to the point to where it's printed, right?
Okay.
Okay, Jessica, you want to do some cream cheese dip?
Let's do it.
See what you want to start on.
And do you want me to prep some veggies for the charcuterie, or would you like me to start on biscuits?
Oh, you want to start on biscuits?
What kind of bowl do you need?
Residential assisted living property. What made you shift to that? I know you had bought the other deal. Was it sub 2?
Yes.
Sub 2 was a smaller operation. You've got an RV park. You have a condo.
Yes.
Got a regular business. I don't know if we want to call your business regular, but a business instead of real estate. What made you decide you wanted another residential assisted living instead of one of the other asset classes?
Yeah, I really love real estate-based businesses, and I learned that hospitality is not for me. I don't enjoy, I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy all the messages that come in over really kind of silly things. And so residential assisted living, I think, just suits me better. I like to
Okay, so I
provide-
can see that because your business we're talking about is a charity that helps people. And the residential assisted living, you kind of get a little bit of that. You're helping those older people because some of those places are not great.
Right, it feels really aligned with me because I think one of the problems with assisted livings is that even though they're highly regulated, they're not always kind to the residents. And I think my whole life has been about trying to help people who are in vulnerable situations be less vulnerable. So I'm actually I love this asset class. I love the opportunity that it provides for other families. It's like families helping families.
So I know that when you're in the States, your home base is in Texas. Is that why you picked the Texas area for this, or was there another reason?
Well, taxes are the reason that I hadn't, that I bought my other businesses in different states, is because I was looking for something that wasn't so heavily taxed on property. But as we're spending a bit more time in the States with our kids in school, and as the state side of our businesses grows, and it just makes more sense to start the bigger business closer to home.
That's awesome. So what are you most excited for about it?
I'm excited to acquire the property. We're like, this week, we're crossing our fingers for all the things to really fall in place.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest part about real estate is that waiting period. Like, you do everything you can.
Yes.
You grow your skills, but then there's so much of it that's not up to you.
Correct, yeah.
And so I'm in that kind of waiting phase, and I'm a very active business owner.
Yeah. What do you do to kind of help with those, like,
Anything else?
nerves or the worry, right? I think that's the hardest part, is like trying not to worry about things that are out of your control.
Yeah, I have a list. I have a parking lot list.
in the top.
And so when I think of things that need to be done that I shouldn't be doing yet, or don't have control over, I just put them on the parking lot list, and then I feel like it's not going to get forgotten, and I can come back to it. But I have my other businesses to focus on. And doubling this.
I like that. Yeah, I've heard that too. Like, you kind of just put it up on the board. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to it. But because I think one of the things that I default to is, well, I'm going to start working on the social media and the marketing and the SOPs and all of that, but that's actually not the best use of my time right now, because it's not a sure thing yet. So even though I plan for it to happen and I think everything will fall into place, I need to be focusing my time on what's going to generate revenue in my existing businesses while I wait to acquire the new one.
Yeah, that's smart.
What about you, Carolina? What do you do when you're waiting on the next step?
Yeah, you're in the middle of doing you're going to add another ADU to one of your California properties?
Yes.
And are you still waiting on the city?
Well, we're waiting. So we're trying to see because I do Section 8 out in California, and so they pay per bedroom. So we're trying to get, make it a comfortable space, but get the most bedrooms, because I have to take into account the cost of building out there, because it is expensive, and the permitting
And the permitting takes forever. So
Yes.
like Jessica's saying, what do you do when you're waiting?
I look at it like I have to plant the seed, and I just have to let that grow be like Jessica said, be able to focus on the things that I can control, and like, you know, being able to, like, we're looking at doing some new construction out in Michigan, and so I try to focus on the other things I can control while I have other stuff in the background kind of cooking, right? Like when you bake a cake, like you like put it in the oven and you let it do its thing. So you just have to have the patience, I guess. Yeah.
So Christy,
Oh, yes.
I love your hair
Well, thank you.
and how curly it is. I have had like bone straight hair my whole freaking life. And after my 4th baby, my hair started getting curly. It was the weirdest thing. And so when I went to get my hair colored yesterday, the beauty shop lady was like, Heather, you have full on curly hair now. Like, what the heck? So I bought some products to try and fix my hair curly instead of just trying to like blow dry it straight all the time. Because obviously it's not as curly as yours, right? I wasn't like born with curly hair. What do you put in your hair?
I put in a leave-in conditioner to start with, and then I do a curl cream.
Do you brush your hair
I
all the way
only
through?
brush it in the shower. I don't brush it dry, and I only brush it once I have conditioner in my hair.
Yeah.
That's the only time I brush it, and I actually use a special brush that actually helps the curls separate a little bit.
I bought one of those, yep.
And then I do the leave-in conditioner and the curl cream, and then I scrunch it, or then that's when I brush it with that special brush.
Yep.
And then I put gel in it to create a cast, and then I either dry it with a diffuser or air dry it.
Which looks better?
The diffuser always looks better, but just takes more time than
Yep.
just walking out of the house with wet hair.
Okay, I'm excited to try it. What about mousse? Do you not use mousse?
Not normally. I have mousse. I have mousse. I have it. I use it sometimes, but I don't on a regular basis. It's not part of my routine.
Oh,
So Heather, would you ever do like that plastica treatment? Remember I told you about that for your
I
hair?
know. I saw. Okay, so tell us what that is. Remind me.
So I have really frizzy curly hair. So when
Actually,
I
curly?
well, like wavy. Sorry,
Okay,
it's like frizzy,
yeah, yeah.
poofy,
'Cause
wavy.
I think of like Christy's hair
No,
as
yeah,
curly.
it's not like
Yeah.
that curly. It's like this weird wavy, poofy hair. I've had it my whole life. So when I moved to Florida, the humidity just kills it. Because in California, at least I could straighten it and it would be fine. But moving here to Florida, the humidity's so bad. So I went to a salon and they told me about this thing called Plastica, and it's like a treatment for your hair, but it makes it really smooth and straight, and it makes it so easy to style. So
How often do you get it done?
it lasts for like 4 months.
How much?
Kind
is
of
it-
depends on how fast your hair grows out, right?
How much does it cost?
Ooh, it's expensive.
Okay, ladies, we are all investors. Expensive is relative. How expensive?
Well, it's pricey for your hair. Yeah. So when I went to the salon, I think it ended up being like $600.
Shut up. That is expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I found somebody at my CrossFit box that does it out of her house.
Okay.
I mean, she has a whole salon set up in her house, like that's her business.
And she's licensed and all
yes,
the stuff. Yeah.
correct. And it was like less than half of that.
That's crazy.
I wish I
Correct.
would have known about that when I was younger. I actually did not start wearing my hair curly on a regular basis until COVID.
What?
Oh,
So you were like straightening it every day?
Every single day.
Shut
But my
up.
daughter, who has curlier hair than I do, and I was always telling her how beautiful her hair was, she would straighten it every day because she saw me doing it. And so when COVID came around, it was a perfect time to kind of retrain my hair after years of damage. And now she wears hers curly as well.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, y'all, I know today's episode is inspiring, but inspiration alone will never carry us to our ultimate goals. That's why I started the Society of Entrepreneurial Women. It's a mastermind for high-performing female investors and entrepreneurs who are living their lives unapologetically. In a world where most people don't get us, or they try to keep us confined in a small box, the Society exists to turn off the brakes and set you free. We have weekly calls covering investing, wealth building, health, relationships, family, and a whole lot more. We have small tribes to hold each other accountable to our goals. We have in-person, ladies-only retreats to disconnect and drive each other towards our dreams. And most importantly, this is a community where you can be unapologetically you. Celebrate your wins, scream your successes from the top of the rooftop, become best friends with women who get you. We're 3 years in, and I can honestly say my best friends today are all from the Society. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly is they like pay attention to us, right? Because your daughter at 17 bought her first duplex.
Yeah,
Which
she was
is
16, but yes.
16. Totally crazy. And she's following in your footsteps, the good. The bad, we like beat ourselves up over like, I wish I had curly hair. I wish I had straight hair. I hate my gray hair, so I'm getting it colored every 2 freaking weeks, right?
Yeah.
They're watching that.
Yeah, they totally are. And it's funny you put it that way, because I just had this conversation with someone else too, because now she just turned 18, literally July 30th, and she feels all this pressure of like, I have to make another move because that's the pressures that she's around. And so we're trying to, like, you don't always have to have that next thing planned right away. You can just educate yourself and kind of see what you want to do next. And so we had that whole conversation of how much your kids watch you. Yeah. And the good and the bad, right? Her feeling that pressure of making her next move because
okay, so I love that you brought that up because did you homeschool Jessica?
Yes.
And you homeschooled towards the end, right? You homeschooled
not her, just my son.
Just your son. So I feel like in the homeschool community, it's a big thing to have your kids finish at like 16 to kind of let them, and not everybody does this, but it's definitely a common thing that they have them kind of rush through that high school part. They get them to start at junior college or whatever to get them started. And I was homeschooled and I finished high school at 16 and went to community college.
Oh, wow.
And I have this opinion that you get to be an adult with really stressful decisions and heavy weighted things happening for a very long time. There is no reason to rush those last 2 years, that 16, 17, 18, in order to like get started sooner. I don't actually understand where that trend came up with. Maybe it sounds cool, your kid graduated early or whatever, but I don't understand the rush with that.
I don't either. And the pressure she puts on herself is the worst.
Because that's what the society teaches us, right?
Yeah.
And then even what I went to college for, I went to college for supply chain management. I am not the least bit interested in that. Because at that age, you have no clue what you want to do for the rest of your life. And we're also not exposed to enough stuff usually
to make that decision.
As little kids to make that decision, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it from like when they're really little, the question that they keep asking kids is like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And
Who
I'm like,
freaking knows?
I honestly never asked my kids that, and it's like kind of weird when like we were on a cruise and then they were like, we did this competition thing and like we had to answer the question and they had to write on the whiteboard, like one of those family game things. And they're like, what does your kid want to be when they grow up? And I was like, I don't know. It changes from week to week. Like it depends what they learned or what mentor they had.
Oh my gosh, it also depends on where you live. Because I remember the first memory I have of being asked that question was I was a little kid in Mississippi. I was in like kindergarten or first grade. And in Mississippi, it's terrible, but I swear people care more about what people think of them there. And all the women, even my mother still, they have full faces of makeup every day. Their hair looks perfect. Their outfits are adorable. They have beauty pageants in the high school.
Oh my gosh.
Like beauty pageants are this huge thing, which I know there's a lot of people really into that pageant culture. But like all of the kindergarten, first grade girls were like, I want to be Miss America, right? And then if you think about your daughter, she wouldn't even know Miss America is an option.
No.
Right?
No.
And so it really depends on the environment you've been around.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does. It does depend on that. And I think like from when I was little, I always said I wanted to be a teacher. And then I feel like because the stuff we tell ourselves really matters, right? So I just always had that idea that I was going to be a teacher, which I did. I became a teacher, but then I ended up doing like 5 other things after that, right? So I tell my kids like just, you pick the thing, but then you don't have to, most people don't even stay with it their whole life, right? Like those people aren't even using the degrees and the credentials that they got.
We tell our kids we're still trying to figure out what we want to do when we grow up.
I'm still growing up.
So I think the better question is, who do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, and of course, Jessica comes with like the inspirational.
Yes, that is true.
My kids are college age, and everyone is pushing that. And even like to go to university, you need to choose a major, and it puts a lot of pressure. Because university is college. It's an investment for a family to send their kids. And so, my kids are like, well, you're investing all this money in me, and they know we could be investing it in something else. And they're like, what if I don't want to do this forever?
Yeah, that's a big one.
My response is, this is about becoming who you're becoming. This doesn't lock you in to do this.
But most parents put a lot of pressure on them, especially if they contribute to paying for college. My husband got a doctorate in physical therapy, and they spent almost $500,000. I mean, because he's not only out of state, he's out of country.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They had to send him to the United States from Singapore. And throughout the whole process, they ended up spending almost $500,000 on his education. And he was literally only in the professional like world of that for maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And now his parents are like, WTF.
Yeah.
Right? And so, man, when people ask me like, would you tell your kids to go to college or encourage that? I don't actually know the answer.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I think it depends on the family for us, because my kids were not raised in America, but they plan to live in America. This is like, you know, historically, so many cultures have a rite of passage when children become adults. We've lost that. We don't have that rite of passage anymore.
Yeah.
And so for me, college is that rite of passage. It's like a
In between.
It's that in between where you're learning to be an adult, but
You're
you
like
don't
in a
have
controlled,
all of that
structured environment.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Like,
And your daughter's even an RA, so she's
she's
more
responsible for other people. But you know, if she doesn't feel like cooking, there's a cafeteria to go to, and there's still structure, and someone's helping like plan out the schedule.
Yeah.
And so it feels like
where y'all
the
live,
choices
she didn't
are.
even have driver's license. She's
Right, yeah.
just turned 20 and she's learned. Did she learn to drive before she got to school?
She's driving, but we didn't have enough time to complete the whole driver's license process. So
Okay.
yeah, but I think it just depends on like, what does that child need? That's why it's more important for them to know what they want to become than it is for them to know what they want to do.
Well, yeah, I think that's important because, like, when I left teaching, and we've talked to other ladies too, right? When they leave their W-2s, whatever that profession is, you almost have this identity crisis, right?
Yes.
Because I was like, I am the autism program specialist, and if I'm not doing that, then who am I, right? And so that first year was a real struggle of like my identity, so to speak, because I did it for 21 years, right? So if you're focusing more on who you are rather than what your profession is, and your identity comes from that core, then
But it comes from that because every time you meet somebody out in public, whatever the case may be, like, oh, what do you do?
correct. Yep.
It's like one of the first questions people ask. And
Yeah.
I bought my first property at 26. I'm 41, so I've had a lot. And to say what I do, I'm like,
It's so weird, right?
I'm like, I don't even know how to tell you what. I own a bunch of random stuff that supports me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a real estate investor, and then they're like, can you help me buy a house? And I'm like, I don't know anything about buying houses. So no, I would not be a good one to help you buy a house. So it does become an awkward conversation.
It does, yeah.
And so I also had the habit, right? Because culturally, that's a habit. So instead, even with these podcast episodes, I've started ending them with asking people what's something you're working on that you're really excited about right now.
Yeah.
Because that tells you a lot more about somebody and who they are than like and a lot of times they'll tell you something about their job they're excited about, which is great, right? But not everybody is going to tell you that.
I'm done with this dip, so do we know how we want these cut? Are we cutting them
And this one is
cubes
completed
or?
as well.
Okay,
Do we put them in a?
Your dip is done?
Yes.
Is it pink?
Is it supposed to be pink?
Do you want me to, I can put more cherry juice, but I put the amount of cherry
It
juice
didn't turn
in
pink.
there. Maybe because those organic cherries don't have as much red dye.
That's so weird.
I can put a little bit more in.
Maybe you should taste it.
Okay, I will be so happy to taste it.
Okay.
She's like, I saw the ingredients go in there. I know it's going to taste good.
We do not want to put red food dye in it.
No, let's put a little bit more.
Yeah?
More of the cherries.
I was gonna just eat the cherries out of the jar, but
So
They look delicious.
Christy, talking about like shifting gears and changing your identity. Yeah, you're getting ready to shift gears again. You've been working on a property have you owned it for 3 years now?
By the time we close, we will
did
own
make
it
a
for
decision.
3 years and 3 days.
Oh my gosh, okay, so exactly 3 years.
Yep.
You kind of bought it as a distressed property.
Yes.
And you've totally turned it around, made it significantly more profitable, and you're ready to sell and move on to something else. How are you feeling about, this is something new? You moved to a whole new area of the country.
Yep.
You moved from, were you in Arizona before?
Arizona.
To the Midwest. Freaking freezing cold rural area.
Yep.
And totally changed your identity. And now you're about to do that again.
Yes.
To move to the Southeast, which is a whole different part of the country.
Yep. Another part of the country I've never lived in or truly experienced before. So it'll be
And are your kids going? Your daughter's just turned 18. Your son's
12.
12. Oh, he's younger than I thought. And so they're going.
Both of them are going. And we're super excited. I think the hardest part about this is commercial real estate just takes a long time to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Yep.
I would go tomorrow if I could.
So how are you feeling about leaving the property though that you worked so hard on putting all those, you hired new staff, you put new systems in, all the amenities, you built a game room, restaurant, bar-ish, what are we calling that?
Well, we have the lounge, and
The
then we also
lounge.
have we call it the snack shack for the restaurant.
Yeah, you did
it's more
so
casual.
much to that property to make it so much better. How are you feeling about leaving that?
It's mixed emotions. It's also it's a mix of excitement and with the new buyers and hearing all the plans that they want to do. Some of the things you're like, oh yeah, that's actually a great idea, and other things, you know, it's just not what your vision was. So it's hard to allow someone else to come in with a new vision. But I think overall, it's going to be what's best.
And then you mentioned earlier about your daughter too, how she like feels that responsibility to move on to the next thing. So when you're in the I'm not going to call it an in-between because you're actually working on the business.
Right.
What do you think about for that time? Like, what were you telling yourselves as you're building for 3 years before you move on to the next thing? Was the next thing in mind?
No, it was not. It was unplanned. I thought we were going to be there longer. I agree with you. The in-between time is actually the most exciting time because you're looking forward to something. Once you close on it, you're like, oh crap, what did I do?
Now I have to do it again. Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the reason why I found Heather, because I was like, I realized real quick, I'm like, I don't really know how to operate an RV park. How do I do this? I know hospitality, I know culinary. How do I do this RV park style?
Yeah.
And so I think the looking forward to it is actually the easiest part. Once you get in there, that's when the work starts.
Yeah.
And how hard it is. And my daughter was a huge part of that. She got to see us, hustle and grind and get the job done. And I really thought we were going to build it up and get to a point where I could own more of my time and then just keep it. But we decided growing and was going to be better. And so we decided to scale upwards instead of just purchasing additional parks.
Yeah, because your daughter's 18 now, right? So
Yes.
she was 16?
16 when she bought a duplex. She's now selling that duplex.
Oh, wow.
So she'll have once she sells it, she'll probably have about $40,000 in equity for her to do something else. She's talking about starting a business. She just doesn't know what she wants to do yet.
So
That's
the
exciting.
duplex, did she end up using it as a short-term rental?
Yes, correct.
And she didn't like that, or?
She does not. She does not. She's decided she doesn't like having a property that she self-manages that's over an hour away.
Yeah.
She doesn't like trying to organize the cleaning and, the guests who steal your smart TV remote.
Yes.
Or,
I agree.
may have to mail you keys because they took them or whatever. So there's definitely that aspect of it that hospitality I don't think is her, the thing that she's going to continue
Did
on
she
with.
come out of it with anything she did like for a direction?
She loves that her car payment's paid every month and she doesn't have to worry about it.
That's awesome.
She truly understands now what people talk about, like, oh, your assets should buy your doodads, which I think is
okay, we should stop and talk about what a gift to give your kid by the time they're 18 to understand that.
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Well, and even understand that, like, okay, this, short-term rental thing it's not for me, right? Or the hospitality part of it, right?
Right, because you went through that too.
Yes. Yeah. So we when we moved to Florida, just like, I never even thought of doing a short-term rental, but then again, once I joined like the society and I just hearing about it, and I'm like, oh, I could totally turn this unused space in my house into a short-term rental.
Well,
So-
especially since it's quote unquote in your house. It's totally detached and they have a separate entrance.
Yes.
And you're like 15 minutes from Disney World.
Correct. Yeah. So it was like prime. I mean, it was such a blessing because it was not the intention when we like bought the house, but I ended up seeing the opportunity once I was there. I was like, oh, let's do it.
Does it cover your mortgage?
Half. So because
Wow.
it's like a hotel suite kind of. So well, I mean, let me back up. It's the tax, insurance, and mortgage is all paid together, right? So it covers a little more than half of that.
That's huge though.
Again, yeah, it's awesome, especially because it was unplanned. I was like, oh, So that was a blessing. But yeah, definitely learned a lot of things of like, I didn't want to get more of them. I was like, I'm good with the one. And that's why we're focusing more on building and doing long-term rentals, because I found out that's what I do better.
Okay, we should talk about that, Carolina, because you invest in California, which everybody here is like, don't buy in California. California sucks. But you moved to Florida. What keeps you investing in California? Because you have a positive experience with investing in California.
I have, because like the properties have appreciated so well, and they continue to appreciate well. And then there's a big demand for rent out there. Big demand for housing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. There's a big demand for housing. The rents keep going up year after year, and Section 8 was actually paying 120% of the market value.
Wow.
In that area. So I was getting 20% above market value working with Section 8. They've now changed that to 110%, but some certain areas, some certain zip codes, like the ones that where I'm building the new ADU, they still pay 120% above market value. So it just, from an investment perspective, it just makes sense for us. Like, because we make so much on one property that I would need like 20 of them in a different market, right?
Yeah.
So I would rather manage one tenant than 20 and make the same cash flow, plus then the appreciation.
So we should talk about that too, because when you go to these conferences, all these people are like, I have 100 properties, I have a whatever. And then they live in like rural, wherever, we're not gonna pick on any states. And those properties are like $50,000 a piece, and maybe they put 20 grand remodel into them. They're getting $700-800 for rent, and their 100 properties does not even net the same amount as your 5 or 6 might in California.
Correct. Yeah, so it really isn't about like how many I have, it's about like
the cash flow.
What is the cash flow, and then also the appreciation.
Okay, so what about the bad reputation though of like, oh, you can't evict tenants and they're squatters and blah, right? Think about all the publicity that California gets.
I mean, I go through a pretty rigorous, like I screen I am so picky. I had the best advice my father-in-law gave me when very first time I ever looked to rent a house, and I didn't have any idea what I was doing. He said, "You are the prom queen at the prom." I love that. He was like, you get to pick, and I get to be as picky as I want, because we would literally have hundreds of applicants.
Wow.
And so I really just set those really standards of like, you got to have this credit score, you have to show your W-2. So I had just very strict standards for the tenants, right? And then we are really great to our tenants too. Like anytime they need,
a lot of your people stay. When you're putting the ADU, how long's the family been there?
So the new one, yeah. So that one, we've only been renting that house out for 3 years, but we've had the same family there for 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, and that's a huge part of making money, is making sure that you don't have these big gaps and turnover.
Correct. Yes. So I actually really do like all of my tenants. They're very lovely families, and like they're awesome people, and
I love that.
They have my number, and they text me if they need something, and like it's all good. So it works out. It's a relationship, right? Like you building those, because I want them to stay, and like I want them to be comfortable, and it's like so it works out.
So you also talked about building in Michigan.
Yeah. So actually, so another coach in the mastermind and I are looking at some land out there, and so we've been running the numbers.
Okay, I don't think we've talked about that all of y'all started out as society members, and then you became society coaches, which is really cool, because I think we're one of the very few programs that have coaches who are actually like successful real estate investors for years. They aren't people who just started this last year and have a coaching program. They aren't people who just took a certification class to become a great coach and that's their business. Like all of y'all are like legitimately investors and come with that perspective.
Yeah.
And we all have different perspective, which is what you're talking about now. Jerry, who's one of our other coaches, she's been doing this for over 20 years and she just got her builder's license.
Yes.
Like that's a huge asset.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, and like honestly, coaching takes such a skill set. Right, and it's like this really, you want this good mix of somebody that has like the experience doing the thing successfully, but then also has the coaching skills
because
to know how to coach. Yes, because it's not just doesn't come naturally, right?
Which
So-
is how you ended up on my team, because
Yeah.
you had the teaching experience.
Correct, yeah.
To be able to train our coaches who had the real estate experiences to become that perfect mix of both.
Yeah. So having yes, I was very fortunate in my last position to be in this very unique position where it was my job to learn how to be a good coach. Like I got training to be high quality, to provide high quality coaching, and through the state of California, and it was like funded. It was this huge grant and all of this. But with that came a lot of expectations and standards, and we had to go in and do tons of coaching, tons of like workshops and training and all of that, right? But I had 8 years of it. So I was able to get really great at how do you coach all the different personalities, all the different, because everybody comes in with a different mindset, right? Everybody comes in with different skills and resources. So being able to coach and being able to adapt your coaching skills, it really is a skill set, right? So being able to take coaches who are so amazing, have all the experience, and then teach them then how do you put the coaching skills with that to be able to help people advance and meet their goals. So that's like a really cool thing we get to do.
Okay, for the rest, let's take a 2-second break. For the rest of the cheese, let's not do blocks.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to make it different types of aesthetics, right? So this we're gonna like mound, right? So for the next ones, for like this, take and like,
Slices.
yeah, so that we can make a different design.
And then you
Does that
can do
make sense?
sticks too.
Yeah,
If you have weird shaped cheeses.
yeah. So for these, for like this one, you'd probably want to do something like that.
Okay.
Over here. Okay, so I'll stick it to the fridge. And then what, should I start chopping something or?
Sure, you can chop up cucumbers if you want.
Awesome. That I can do.
Ta-da, look how cute these turned out.
Oh,
Those
they
are adorable.
really cute.
They're very cute. Yay!
Ladies, it's time to redefine the conference experience with the Society of Entrepreneurial Women retreats. Step inside a world tailored for women just like you, where you can lead, learn, and unwind in style. Our retreats offer everything from insightful investing sessions to fun activities like salsa dancing, boat cruises, food tours, and so much more, ensuring you come back not just inspired, but truly refreshed. Join a community that celebrates you wholly and supports your every endeavor. Ready for a retreat that changes the game? Visit the link in our show notes and find out how you can be part of this exclusive experience.
So Carolina, how are you managing your properties in California all the way from Florida?
Yeah, so it really is about just having a good team, right? We have a real estate agent out there that we have a great relationship with, so she'll help when we have, we need tenants to see the property. We have a couple handyman and contractors on like speed dial. So like, for example, was it last week? The tenant calls me, she's like, the outlet is, there's smoke coming out of the outlet. It's like Friday night at 7 p.m. I'm like, oh my God, 7 p.m. California time.
Yeah.
So it was what, 8, 9, 10 for us. So we're quickly calling our contractor that lives really close, and thankfully he was able to go and he was able to check it out, and he's like, you are so lucky you didn't lose the house. There was like some faulty wiring with, and it was before, it's like stuff that happened before we even moved into that. Anyways, and sometimes you need to get creative. Like I'm so lucky that I have my dad out there that is willing to help and support. So I will call him my property manager, and so if a tenant calls and I need something just kind of checked out, my dad will do me that favor. Or if I need keys turned over, or hey, can you go take pictures of, you know, the house the tenant left, things like that. And I'll let them know, I'm like, my property manager is coming. And Heather, you do that too, right? Like you have your family.
My mom is my COO, but she ends up the person there sometimes. I'm like, our office manager or whatever is coming, yeah.
And I remember I texted her and was like, because I felt weird telling people like, my dad's gonna come, right? So I was like, what do you call? She's like, I said my property manager. I'm like, my property manager.
Well, it's so funny because girls who join the society oftentimes talk to my mom first, because she does some of our like calls for you talk to my mom first.
Yeah, well, before Carolina, she was the onboarding person.
Yeah, and she's like who some people talk to first, and like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes in, the calls are recorded. So oftentimes I'll hear them be like, are you related to Heather? Or they'll be like, how long have you known Heather? And my mom's like, I don't know, about 41 years.
Yeah.
So they usually eventually figure it out though.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's such a blessing to be able to have. So really it's being creative. So, but if I'm looking at a new market, for example, we flipped some houses in Tennessee. Again, it's like creating some really great partnerships of people who have like boots on the ground. And even in Michigan, you know, being able to work with someone I really trust, which is like Jerry. You guys all know, like, she's amazing. So and you know, she has all of her connections and resources out there. So it really is sometimes when you're looking at a state, it's like looking for your who's.
Yes.
Right? And finding the people that are going to be reliable, that you can work well with. Right? And how about you? I mean, Jessica, like, being in a different country.
Yeah, you're just like next level.
You're
You
even
asked me
like
that.
Well, because I think
You're like, are you half the year in Iraq?
I mean, we're more like 8-9 months in
Okay.
Iraq, but it's transitioning a little bit as our kids are on this side of the world. I want to be closer to them.
Yeah.
But it's different when you have a whole team to run a business.
Yes.
And you just have a house. So the only like single family long term we have is a condo near a university campus in Texas. And we have a great management team, but they're managing hundreds of different people's condos, right? Their main job, or houses, their main job is to get students in at the beginning of every year. And sometimes, you know, we pay for like an electrician to come out, it's $200, and they just, a breaker flipped.
Yes.
And I'm like, gosh, if I was there, that would have been
$2.
$5 a gas, right? Just come over because these students just don't know how to flip the breaker.
Yep.
And
Which,
so,
which
you
is
also
why
don't
I
want them.
always
Yeah.
tell people when they're looking for all these different markets that you don't realize the savings of the economies of scale
Yes.
of having multiple properties in one area.
absolutely. And so for me, as I am looking to diversify a little bit, I am wondering, like, how do I get to know a new market where maybe things are a little bit more affordable? My daughter's trying to buy a house this year. She can't afford something in Texas right now. And so we're trying to find a better market for her. And I just I don't know people in these markets. And so it's something different because I normally buy businesses. You can look at previous revenue to know how well the business does, no matter where it is in the world. But when you're buying a single family home, it's a little more complicated. And so, yeah, it's just still something I'm trying to get better at.
I think we've all managed from a distance, right? I mean, Christy, you had stuff still in Arizona.
I did for the first year.
Did you sell those?
My partner bought me out.
Okay. Well, it probably helped having a partner in the other city.
It did. But it also made me realize how much I actually did for the project. So there were some things that she had to take over, and I don't think she realized how much she had to. We kind of switched roles. I did more of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and she did more of the boots-on-the-ground stuff. And I don't think she realized how much I did do for those.
I'm also realizing right now that all three of you have had sour partnerships.
Yes, I wouldn't say sour, but I will say
Difficult.
yeah, like it was, you know, you just imagine partnership going one way, and then when it doesn't, it's just kind of disappointing.
Well, I think it's also a true testament to, I often tell people when they're considering a partnership, like, if this doesn't work out, you basically have to get divorced.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so those contracts that you set ahead of time are so freaking important because when it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
Yes. But I'm having those like uncomfortable conversations in the beginning of like, what's the exit strategy if this doesn't
Yes.
work out or doesn't go well, and like having, because when you're first starting, everyone's excited and you're like, yeah, let's do it. But like you have to think through like, okay, if this doesn't work, like what's the exit plan, and like how do we, you know, nicely everybody walk away from it, right? Like what's the plan?
But I think something to think about. And so when you form a partnership, you're probably not going to be the same person 5 years down the road. You probably won't want the same things 5 years down the road.
And it's not just like who you become, it's the skills you have, the things you don't want to do anymore, right? It's you grow in so many areas.
And so
Is your
like
partner growing or not?
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean,
so sometimes
marriage,
it's like,
right? I just said marriage.
sometimes it's like, well, you have to put the contracts in place because something bad could happen down the road. And I think, no, we have to get better at putting the right contracts in place because it actually allows people the freedom to come and go out of a partnership. And I think if we can enter into partnerships without thinking that they're forever, then we will.
Because they aren't marriages.
Right. Then we will do a better job of staying focused on the business side of things and making sure we're protecting everyone involved.
Well, also maybe ending on good terms, right? Because if you don't have that, it almost always ends on bad terms.
But even if they're failures, they're all things we've learned from, right? And now we're able to use those learnings to help other people.
Lose the relationships,
It does
right?
suck.
If you could have something in place to not lose
Yes.
the relationships, I mean, I would definitely go back and have that.
I agree. But sometimes friends, like adult friendships, they just are going to come and go because they're so based on where you spend your time. And so if you had a business with one partner and you were working together every single day, your relationship's going to be a lot closer than if you find a different partner and you no longer have that like forced proximity.
Or you move away.
Or you move away, yeah.
But
yeah.
I applaud you, Heather, because you've built this huge thing all by yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have a ton of crazy debt. You don't have a ton of partners. You're not doing syndications. You own your stuff.
So it's interesting that you say that, because a couple years ago, I think it was maybe 4 years ago, because when I started social media, a lot of people started asking me, hey, can I invest in your deal? Like, what do you have for me to invest in? Because it's not normal to own as many things as I do by yourself. I've been super, super blessed, right? Nothing but Jesus, because I shouldn't have been able to figure that out by myself. And the time I bought and the deals I got, right? But people are always like, how do I invest? How do I invest? And I don't have investors. And so the more I got into this world of quote unquote real estate influencer, and I would meet other people who had funds and syndications, I was like, I must be doing something wrong. In fact, a lot of big name influencers that people believe everything they say, we're not gonna call them out right now, was like, Heather, why are you using your own money? I don't get why you're doing this. This isn't smart. What do you mean you've never raised money? It has taken me until now to realize they are wrong. Because here's the thing. And it's also taken a couple good friends who raised a lot of money, like $100 million portfolios, that it went bad, to understand that I didn't want that. I would much rather have the smaller portfolio that's just mine with the freedom that I have in my life, because the people who raise the money for that, they're literally, because this is where I kept getting stuck. I'm like, I don't understand how you're paid. Like, if you raise all this money and you have all these partners, where is the money? Like, where are you I don't get it. And it took me asking a lot of people to finally get somebody to be honest with me. They're only making money when they sell. They get an acquisitions fee sometimes that might be like 1%, I've seen. I'm sure there's other people who charge different things. And then they get a management fee. And so and they get a disposition fee, right? Selling. And so as they're doing this, they really are tight on their money, and they're not totally in control of the property. Because if they went to get a loan, it's not all theirs. So they couldn't leverage that property without it being all those other people's too. And it's just a really different world. And I get that everybody does things their own way. And this is how some people are able to scale and grow. But it is not something I want to shift to. I am so blessed to have so much freedom. I don't need to say I own 1,000 units. I am happy with the freedom I have in my life, with the units that I have. And I think that's something it's not okay to say in our industry, because like you talked about earlier, you're always supposed to be chasing that next thing.
Yeah, it's like the Keeping Up with the Joneses business edition.
Yes. And also,
Real estate
people
edition.
don't tell you all of the information, because you see these people on, it really took me a long time to figure this out. They're like, I closed on a deal, I closed on a deal, I closed on a deal. I'm like, how the heck are you closing on something every week? And I'm closing on like 2 things a year. Well, I'm buying multi-million-dollar properties with my own money. They're flipping and wholesaling, right? Those are such different things.
Yeah.
So they don't give you all the details. And so you're like comparing things that aren't apples to apples.
Agreed. And at the end of the day, they don't own an asset.
They don't own anything. And then they're paying taxes on it. And they're like at the end of the year scrambling, trying to buy stuff that may or may not be great deals to make up for the taxes. Like, I don't want that. And to each their own, right?
Yeah.
It's not that they're doing something wrong. All the people who tried to tell me I was doing something wrong and pushed me for something else, I am glad I made the decision I did.
Well, not that my partnership was a total fail, but I will say watching you own all of yours was very encouraging for me. And right now, in all the moves we're making and all the stuff we have, and we're pretty much going to double our portfolio in 1 year, and it'll be all ours. And I love that. And I kind of was like, Heather does it all by herself. We can do it. We don't need.
Okay, but then there's like gonna be the people, because there's a million different ways to make money in real estate, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people who tell you that's not right and that you should have done this or you should have done that. But I think you have to pick and choose what things you're okay with.
Yeah, and then Christie, I want to circle back. So you said like you're gonna double your portfolio in 1 year, but I think what people don't see is like the amount, the sacrifices and the things that you had to do for the period of time that you did to get to the place that you're at.
Yeah, you didn't just buy stuff and then you sat around and waited for 3 years and it's doubled.
Like you've worked really hard to get to this place.
Yes.
Like to get the momentum to now like, so to see all the moves that you're making and seeing everything lining up for you, it's like, it's something that was in transition for the last several years. It just now it's that iceberg effect. Like on the top, it looks like, oh my gosh, she's like selling this one and she's doubling to get this one. It looks really like,
It just happened.
yeah, like it just happened. So it's taking you like a lot of work and sacrifice. Like you were talking earlier about moving from like the nice big house to the mobile home and like, you know, even getting the judgments from like people of like, oh, you know, you're kind of downgraded, but it's what you needed to do and you're with your family and you're good. Like how beautiful that is.
Agree. And I think being an investor in real estate or business, some people don't see the sacrifice, right? They just want the big shiny thing that they want Heather's life. They don't want to know how much hard work it took her to get there, right? Or any of us.
And
for
takes
that
to
matter.
maintain and
And what it takes to maintain that.
Yes, most people don't realize I have not slept right now as they're watching this. Yeah, they're like, oh, how does Heather do this with 5 kids and all these businesses and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I haven't slept in 2 years. Like, actually.
You were pregnant for most of that time.
I was. I'm like actually vampire mode right now. Thank y'all so much for helping me with this today, because this would have been a lot to do by myself.
I love it. I love that we get extra time together. I love the intentionality that we're all putting in to care for our members who are coming to join us tomorrow. Everybody worked so hard to win this day.
Speaking of that, we should talk about that. So our members in the society, we have 2 challenges a year between the tribes, because they're all broke up in these different groups. And we have tribe leaders. All the coaches lead a tribe. And the girls have contests and they meet these specific goals and then they win something special. It's part of their membership. And so for this one, Jessica's tribe won. Yay! They worked really hard. And so they got to win this like day with Heather, which I feel like is the stupidest title and it makes me feel really dumb. But they don't get a lot of in-person time with us, right? So they're coming down here to South Florida. And they've all worked really hard to get here. These are our girls that own between 4 and 10 properties. So they're really excited to come, like you said. So we'll meet with them in the morning and do the rest of this.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing because we spend so much time on Zoom with one another.
And getting to meet each other in person.
And so we see each other at the retreats, but to have another special time to come together and really get to focus. And everyone has something huge they're working on right now. So it's going to be fun to help each other progress through all of that.
Yeah, because sometimes you're like in the hard part for so long, you feel like you're alone, and coming to this kind of stuff, I feel like refuels you and sends you back with excitement to like continue and push through to the end.
This tea party reminded me why I love the society so much. The food and the laughs were great, but it's the conversations that matter most. Because when you sit down with the women who are actually walking the walk in business and real estate, something powerful happens. You realize you're not alone in chasing big dreams. The society is filled with women who are doing the work, taking action, and encouraging each other every step of the way. And here's the difference. Inside the society, you don't just get community. You get personal, one-on-one coaching. That coaching is what helps so many of our women scale to new levels, to the point where the membership fee essentially erases itself. The strategies, the accountability, the clarity, it pays for itself over and over again in the deals you close and the money you make. If you've been waiting for the right community and the right coaching, this is it. The society was built for women just like you. Remember, authenticity is your superpower. Stay unapologetically yourself, and let's continue embracing our uniqueness together. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss the next episode.